Okay, so we got the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. The deck that I've made is 160 cards, and I'm going to separate it so I can shuffle it. Spirit, what do you wish to share about Jennifer Kesse's situation right before, during, or after? We have Lovers. Card flew to the floor. Swamp. Okay. Drama film. That's interesting. News media and the press. Deviant or perv. Gunfire, the threat of it, I say. Local. Concealed or hidden. We saw that with the shovel card in the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle reading. Let's see what else. Distraction or diversion. I felt like there's some energy of that going on. Baby. Doesn't necessarily mean she's with child, by the way. Could mean someone, the perp, was expecting a baby, or starting a family, or now has started a family, or rumor of baby, or rumor of her being pregnant, or things of that nature. It doesn't always, sometimes it does translate literally to fertility or conception, but or being pregnant and all of that, but sometimes it could be something about a baby. What else, Spirit? Okay, that's too many. We'll take this one, clean up. I only like to work with like 1 to maybe 2 or 3 cards for these. Then I reshuffle them if too many come out. Cold case, that's interesting. Thanks, Spirit. It finally was picked up by the cold case unit in 2022. It's 2024, and she was first missing in 2006. I mean, come on now. Mental jail. Someone's in a mental jail. We're gonna pull just 2 more, Spirit. Just 2 more. Justice and karma. Ooh, that's powerful. And last one. One more, Spirit. Okay. The S word. Okay. Now we're going to just discuss these real quick. And do that. One moment. Okay. All right. Sure, I'll just bring them up to you all so you can see the cards as need be. We have here the Lovers, and I was picking up on something here, that it could be somebody wanted to be in a love relationship with her, maybe she rebuffed them, or it could be that she was having some sort of flirtation or connection or a history with this person. Okay, could be. It has a history with this person. Swamp. This could be a physical location of where she may be. Are there nearby swampy areas that she could be buried or partially covered, or her remains partially covered? This also could be a swampy situation. murky emotional waters here as it relates to this Lovers card, okay? Drama filled. This is why I'm like, I don't know about the workers theory, but I'm open-minded. I mean, there are cards here that could signal that somebody had an obsession with her, like the Lovers. But drama filled, that's a little different, right? Let me know what you all think in the comment section. Do you know this case? What are your hypotheses, your intuitive hunches? Have you did a reading on this case? And if so, please, please share your intuitive insights if you're comfortable doing it. Okay, so news, media, and the press. Well, obviously this is something to be aware of as readers who do readings on this case, is that there's a lot of eyes on it, a lot of press over the, decades, over the years. And so with that, sometimes you're picking up all these different theories. It's kind of hard to hone in and tune out the noise to see really what's going on, because rumors, accusations have energy over a longer period of time. They start to pick up steam as if it is the truth. So that's why you sometimes hear readers or psychics or mediums having different like they picking up all of these different theories, but that's because it's already in the ethers. That's why doing cold cases, especially ones that have a lot of media attention, can be challenging to get through all the noise, to really hone in on what are we really dealing with here. Now, I know not everybody who watch my videos are believers, but take it for what you take it. I don't know. You're watching it. I know there's some people who are like, these are just a bunch of cards. Well, okay. To you they are. To some of us, they unlock certain things inside of us. Our imagination, our intuition. So yeah, anyways, deviant or perv. This person has deviant tendencies or kind of pervy, comes off a creepy energy, maybe has a history with certain deviant behaviors, was starting to show deviant behaviors, the way they talked, teetering on like harassment, sexual harassment. But it could go as far as peeping Tom or like doing weird things or looking at certain photographs and such. You know what I mean? Like it can grow real far. It could be just starting out as pervy. He could be. I feel like it's a he. I know the law enforcement says the short person. I feel like, I don't know, it feels like a he to me. You all let me know what you think. And of course, I'm going to ask in the tarot reading, which will be recorded later. I'm going to have to do these in multiple parts. We're going to have to do a part 2 of continuing the opening oracle reading, which I will publish on the same day as this video. And then tune in next week for the detailed tarot and oracle reading. That's where I'm using tarot cards and asking. So far, I've come up with 11 questions to ask on this case for the reading, for the tarot reading. So definitely stay tuned for it. Okay, gunfire. Gunfire. This could be just symbolic of targeted, or the threat of, like, I'm going to use a gun on you to kind of finally subdue her. Or it could be that they did something using a firearm to her, or the threat to her family in the past, that they would do some harm to a boyfriend or to her loved ones. Gunfire. Maybe this person, the perp, is an avid gun collector. Okay. Local. Native. Local, like when this card sometimes comes up, it's like close to home for her, close to work, close to home, in her sphere. In her sphere. Maybe the person now lives locally, whereas before they didn't. Maybe they stay close or keep a close ear to the ground on what cops may or may not know, and taking great comfort that it appears like cops aren't moving forward. Concealed or hidden. She could be concealed or hidden in some sort of area that kind of resembles this, near a swamp, for example. I'd have to look at the maps to see what we're looking at. And I have a deck that does go into kilometers or miles or what have you. So that'll be in part 2 of the opening oracle reading. Check that out, because it does, we'll see if we can get more clues on where she's at. But Spirit's like, not far, not far. Concealed, but not far. Native to her. Someone, yeah, didn't take her very far. Distraction or diversion. Could be that law enforcement's distracting us or diverting us to one direction intentionally to, you know, have the perp lower their guards. Or it could be that there was a lot of diversion going on in the interrogation room. Or the distraction could be we're so distracted looking at the workers. And I can understand why. The perp was what appeared in the surveillance video. Not the greatest surveillance video, but they looked like they were wearing white paint, you know, like painters' coveralls. But that could be also a way of trying to prevent evidence from being on a person and being able to quickly change out of it. You know, I don't know. Distraction or diversion. We talked a bit about the baby card already. Clean up. Someone cleaned it up. And this is why I feel like someone's been inside of her place before. Careful to clean up their tracks. But whatever happened to her was like an altercation, I think, in her complex, maybe like near the parking lot. It's just what's so curious to me. No one heard any screams. No one heard any screams. Now, that could be because of the threat of a gun or some other weapon, right? But physical altercation. There was evidence on photos that cops failed to really mention to the public or to the family even, that they have for years and years, that they could see that the dust had been disturbed on her hood of her car. That you could, like, it looked like it was smeared around like somebody was moving on it. So a physical altercation. Well, why didn't she scream out? You know, it was in the daytime. In the morning, yes, but daytime. Or could she have known this person? I don't know. You tell me. But there was a physical altercation as affirmed by that physical evidence that police finally released. Someone is very good about cleanup. Very good about that. Coveralls destroyed. Cold case. That it is. I don't know much else. Hopefully what this is also saying is that the cold case unit is going to unearth some stuff about what happened, where she is, who's responsible. That could be what this card is saying. And I'm saying that because of these last cards in this row. Let me show you. Cold case. It's now being handled as of 2022 by the cold case unit. Different kind of handling, much more in depth, reviewing everything all over again. Takes a long time after going through 16 to 18,000 pieces of documents, you know, that could have consequential evidence in there. So they have to take their time going through everything again. Someone's been in a mental jail or is in a mental jail. It could be speaking to her family. I know they are certainly in a mental jail, but I think this is speaking to the perp. And I think as the cold case unit starts to close in, it's going to close in also on the mental stability of the perp. And there is someone who is close to the perp. I would say even perhaps a female, a girlfriend, a wife, someone in the know, a close friend who wanted to be a girlfriend or a wife at the time. I don't know. But they know about the mental instability and explosive nature, and the person who, like, there's certain behaviors they know that this is it. This is this person. He's for sure involved. But also unwittingly covering up. Could be wittingly covering up or helping after the fact, or even being a part of as an accomplice. But knowledge of that, justice and karma, it's going to be a long time coming, but I am encouraged by this card that justice will prevail, that karma has hit or will hit the perp, perhaps in the form of that perp taking their life, or threat. We'll hear later on threats of that happening, or someone threatening to take their life. If you would like something about this coming up, maybe we find out way down the line in the future that someone was guilt tripping her, or someone is at a point where they would take their life if law enforcement closes in, or someone maybe, not even close to the situation at some point over all these years had taken their life. I don't know. You have to let me know what you think of that card. Some people, it could be a distraction or a diversion, making it seem like, well, she just disappeared. She just walked off and left her life. And now she's, declared deceased, and she did that all on her own. I don't think so. Definitely foul play I'm sensing. And the reasons why are, we have concealed or hidden, gunfire, deviant or pervert, cleanup, distraction or diversion, cold case, physical altercation. There are certain cards to me that just really scream that that someone had been faced or dealt with by foul play. All right, my friends, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to take a picture, and we're going to move on. All right, so now we're working with the Divine Crime Oracle. And we are just shuffling to see what cards come up, what clues, landmarks, mileage, or like distance-wise, key months, as it may be. Okay, 1 second, I want to look and see. So it's okay, just looking to see her month. So far, we got October. Has of significance, river or creek, near or in a body of water. I sense near, or maybe at one point put in there and then kind of drifted to the side. April is of significance. The perp may have distinguishable tattoos. Let's see what else. What else do we have? Sexual, rape, assault, non-consensual. Betrayal. 15 to 35 kilometers. Sorry for the dog barking. There's a lot going on in the neighborhood. Okay, hold on. I need to clear. All right, Spirit, what else do you wish to share? 200 to 500 kilometers. What else? Car. That's interesting. Let's see what else comes up. Gunshot. We had the gun card earlier, or gunfire. Clean frame, innocent, clear conscious, setup, or scapegoat. Someone is a scapegoat. Spring. stranger. Crossing borders. Whoa. Whoa. Guilty knowledge did the act. Huh. Northwest. Let's see what else. Long hair. Shows a female in that too. Buried. I don't know what to make of these cards. I'm definitely going to have to rely on the tarot reading. Because I'm just like, what is really going on here? Hold on. One more card, Spirit. One more card. All right, let me show you what we've got. October is of significance to this case. It could be the perp's birthday month. It could be something pertaining to the October preceding her disappearance. It could be a future October where things like start to percolate and come about. We have river and creek. So near or in a body of water. Now, it could be that it's not her that's in the water. It could be key evidence that was dumped in a river or nearby body of water, moving water, right? So it could be that. We have April also is of significance. Again, that could tie to a birthday month of someone closely involved or in the know. It could be something of significance happening in a preceding April or in a future April, you know, like maybe a trial date is in the month of April or October, or arraignment or something big being discovered during these months, right? Tattoos. Someone has distinguishable tattoos. The perp, I'm sensing this might be speaking to lots of people have tattoos, but what I'm talking about is something that stands out. Maybe a tattoo on the neck that's unique. Maybe something on the hand. Something that people would see and be like, oh, that's very unique to them. It's not your standard, like, what do people usually get? Skulls? I don't know what people usually get for tattoos. Roses? Not your typical, like it could be something tribal or something. Not your typical tattoo. This could be tying to what may have happened to her. Sometimes this is a motive in and of itself to do this to a person, but there could be a bigger motive of wanting to control and dominate and punish, as we saw in part one earlier. Yeah, the part one video with the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle and the Scourge card. And I say that also because we have betrayal. Someone betraying her. Someone betraying her. Now, 15 to 35 kilometers could speak to, and we've got multiple cards here. So there could be multiple people that are involved, is what I'm sensing. 15, what I mean by multiple people, like maybe there's one person who did the deed, but multiple people that know and have scattered across different places. 15 to 35 kilometers could represent just how far she's away. We have the Northwest card here at the corner. So it could be that she's 15 to 35 kilometers away from her home, or where they presume she last was, or we're from 15 to 35 kilometers from where her vehicle was parked at the other complex. It could be how close at one time the perp lived near her, or where they live now. Because earlier we got the local card. This could represent how many times, like the radius of round trips and like the people covering up, or round trips from where she was at to where they dropped off different evidence to where they, hid her body, etc. Or it could just simply be that someone in the know about what happened, or who has some key information about someone involved, they now could live about 200 to 500 kilometers from Orlando, for example. Or it could be that she's now moved here. I don't know. I sense that she's close. With this 15 to 35 kilometers card, that in the local card that came up earlier in part 1, I sense that, or not part 1, but earlier in my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle reading, that yes, it's local. She's local. They weren't going to just move her several hundred miles, thousands of miles. This, to me, these two cards, this one, 200 to 500 kilometers, and this one, 1,000 kilometers, is about two people who have moved on, left the area, or moved out. People like potential witnesses who know something about the main the person who had a vested interest in betraying her and turning on her the way they did, and did what they did to her. But what concerns me is crossing borders. This could lead the credence back, or like give credence to the whole thing of undocumented workers who come and go and they left. Or it could be somebody who has a heritage that maybe Mexican heritage, or some, Central American or South American heritage, or I guess Canadian, any near borders that were crossed. Maybe they themselves haven't crossed, but maybe someone who had key information has crossed borders. Maybe there's a threat of a flight risk for this person. Maybe they're still in the States, but there's a flight risk of them crossing borders. Another thing that could be, that leads me to think that people who are believing that it was one of the undocumented workers is the stranger card, right? And the crossing border sitting next to it. But I can't shake the feeling about the distraction and diversion card that came up in the earlier part that I did in this reading. I can't shake that. Like, someone wanting to believe that either she did something to herself, she went off on her own accord, or some stranger danger happened to her with this card. Okay, I can't help but shake that. I just can't. We have old car. So there's an older car that was key and they need to check their surveillance. There's an older car after the vehicles were moved, or they moved her car from her complex over to this other complex that was about a mile away, or less than a mile, I believe. They had to get out of there themselves, and they did so in an old, like, jalopy kind of vehicle. Old car, old vehicle. So paying attention to older models that were coming and going in that complex, in her complex, on the surveillance around the key time period. Not a new late model vehicle, but an old car. This came up again, like we had the gunfire in the earlier part, my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle reading, and this is telling me that someone was either threatening to shoot her or threatening to shoot someone who could potentially give some vital information about what happened. And so, that could be also what it is. It could be that, maybe she ultimately was, shot, or the threat of a gun did come about towards her. But I could see it, that somebody is threatening someone who has key information. And that could be another reason why it just got cold and quiet, because the people who are in the know are very afraid and believe that egotistical person that we talked about earlier is capable of doing harm to themselves or their loved ones. I'm saying that because of this card. We have clean, framed, innocent, clear conscious, setup, and scapegoat. This keyword right here is why I wonder if it's just too easy to place blame on an undocumented worker. Not to say that they did or didn't do it. It just, I don't know. It seems like a scapegoat. This also is telling me that someone who may know information, they may not be guilty. They may have not done anything, but they know something, and they kind of been like threatened into secrecy. This could be what that's speaking to. Stranger. Could be an accomplice that's a stranger to her, or it could be a stranger totally who's there's no cards that indicate obsession or anything like that. But I suppose there could have been someone who is fascinated with her, obsessed with her, started to build up in their mind that there was some sort of love affair that could happen. And she kept rebuffing them. And finally, they just got fed up. They felt betrayed by her rebuffing them, or vice versa. Or that she felt ultimately betrayed by the fact that they turned on her. That this betrayal card could be that. I don't know. Springtime is of significance. Perhaps back when they were doing their investigation in the early stages, Orlando PD, maybe there was something that they found back in the spring following her disappearance, and they need to circle back to that. They need to circle back to the springtime. Or it could be spring, that when something major develops, or it could be just spring is of significance in terms of some sort of movement related to the perps. But springtime is of significance. Sometimes spring could represent spring, like a water, like a watering, like a creek or something like that. A spring, I guess, a body of water. Sometimes. Guilty knowledge did the act, crossing borders. Again, this would lead a lot of credence to, and I don't, by the way, if you all are like, well, aren't you psychic? I don't go around purporting that I know it all. Some of you are like, oh, well, you're not this or that. I don't go around purporting that I am all knowing. When I'm looking at these cards, I'm just interpreting what they could mean, or what associated meanings go to the cards, and what my intuition is picking up on. That doesn't mean my intuition's more or less than yours or anyone else. So we're opening up a dialogue as well, and raising awareness about missing persons cases. We are thinking about things. We're looking at things. And sometimes the cards are supporting totally a major theory. And I'm human, and I don't see it necessarily that way. But I'm human, and I'm allowed to have a difference of opinion, even from my own readings. It is like that for me. So I just wanted to say that, because sometimes people come in my comments and they're like, oh, you're not psychic. I'm not purporting to be all knowing. So just understand that. And I am okay with being wrong. And I'm also okay with, oh, that's what that card meant. I'm totally okay with, being stood corrected. Some people aren't. Some psychics and mediums and readers are very attached to the results of like, oh, was I right? Was I totally accurate? Yeah, it feels great to be accurate, but it's not what's really truly important to me in the grand scheme of things. The person being found, which is ultimately related to law enforcement's efforts, and the community who's there around where the missing person may be at, that's what's going to bring them home. So I don't know. I'm just on a little soapbox, but nevertheless, let's keep going. We have northwest. So northwest of, maybe she could be located 15 to 35 kilometers, within the 15 to 35 kilometers northwest of where she's at, or where she was last at, which was her apartment or condo. Long hair. This is what tells me that there may be someone who is involved who either has long hair and pulls it up, like, in a bun, or it could be that someone else is in the know. A witting or unwitting helper. Maybe the perp has long hair. Buried is important because we got the shovel card that came up earlier in the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. And what do we have here? We have a shovel card. This tells me that somebody's burying something. And sitting underneath the crossing borders card Remember earlier we talked about the truth being like uncovering the truth. Uncovering the truth. And is it really true that it is an undocumented worker? Don't worry. In the next part, we are going to be covering, or I should say the Tarot and Oracle reading part. I'm going to be point blank asking the questions and seeing what Tarot and Oracle cards come up, primarily focusing in on the Tarot, because we're going to ask the questions. And then we have awaiting rescue and delays. Well, delays stands out clearly because, well, we know why. There were several delays in her handling of the case. Like, I don't think this is meaning that she's alive. I don't think so. I think what this is, the key word that stands out is the delays have really hampered the investigation and burying the truth. And I do believe that justice will prevail at some point, but I wonder how long it's going to take for us to get there. So, Jennifer Kesse. We have the R word. I'm so sorry. The spirit revealing more, but look at that. Son, male perpetrator buried. So again, references, when we have multiple cards from different decks saying similar things, we have to really look at that. Somebody's son, male. Someone's son, male. Okay, I'll show you guys in a moment. I think that's it for now. Yeah, we'll just stop at these. Okay. I don't want this video to run too much longer. So this one goes with this one. RAPE. Rape. So we have that in two different cards. That is pointing to someone. It was part sexually motivated, and they felt it was like a form of control. Buried came up again. We have son. Could be that someone recently had a child or has a son, or somebody's protecting a son, or, it just could sometimes simply mean a male is involved. What else do we have here? Greedy. This is good enough is never good enough. Greedy. Somebody wanted maybe her all to themselves, couldn't have it. It could be also someone in a work setting where if it were found out of what they did, their whole life would come crashing down, and they're greedy. They want more and more and more. And this could be a personality trait as well about the perp. They just want more and more and more. Super greedy. Always been greedy. A greedy kid growing up. We have here fraud. Someone is like a fraud, comes across as a fraud, tells lies, or commits fraud. Maybe in their history has allegations of fraud. Maybe there is someone who is a fraud who has been interviewed by police before and is fraudulent. Light hair color. Someone, I suppose the male has probably lighter hair colored, I guess. Maybe the female who knows something has light hair color. Okay. Defining characteristics. Indigenous, native, muscular. Sharp features. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for a moment. Let me pull one or two of these. Snake came up again. This one. more astrology. I was looking for, is this person nearby or far away, or false flame. One more. I only wanted one Chinese astrological one. So we have snake. That could denote somebody's personality, snake-like. We have, and snake says they could have been born in, I think, the key time frames. We have 1953, 1965, 1977, 1989, 2001. Anything further would be too young. Philosophical, organized, intelligent, intuitive, elegant, attentive, mysterious, and decisive. Okay. Then we have Libra. They could have heavy Libra in their chart. Weaknesses is indecisive. That doesn't go with snake, but gullible and resentful. The key word that stands out to me is resentful. Strengths are sociable, idealistic, and diplomatic, but resentful stands out. That's probably why we needed to look at that card. False flame. Definitely a false flame for her, a false flame for this perp. They wanted what they couldn't have with her, and that made them very mad. That's what I'm sensing. Indigenous, sometimes when this card comes up, it could mean, and one of my dear subscribers had mentioned at one time about it could be this person is close to her or in the know. It also could represent somebody with who has indigenous, bloodlines. Could be, or native, like, near her, in native to her life, her home life, her work life. Muscular, sharp features. European features. So you can be native looking, but still kind of have Caucasian looking features. You could be native blood, but then have something about you that, sharp features, but maybe something that's like European-like. Muscular, prominent forehead, and crooked teeth. Okay. Okay. Right, so there you have it. This concludes the opening oracle reading. I didn't want this one to go too long because I have about 11 questions that I will be asking. I'm going to try to pare down those questions. I'm going to revisit my questions that I have listed that I want to include for the next part, the Tarot and Oracle detailed reading for the disappearance of Jennifer. And we're going to be asking things about certain people who popped up in the investigation throughout the years. We're going to ask about the undocumented workers. We're going to ask about more clues on where she's at. That goes into more detail, and we're going to do that next week. So keep a lookout for that. Make sure your notification bells are turned on, set to all for your notifications from Abundant Life Tarot. And let me know what you think. I am still on the fence. I am still leaning towards, I just don't know if I get a strong read or feel on the undocumented workers. I feel like it's somebody else. Someone who felt real slighted and rejected. I suppose that could be an undocumented worker. When it's all said and done, they were making her feel uncomfortable with the catcalling. If you're a woman in modern times, you know what that feels like when people are like catcalling and trying to flirt with you and catch your attention or staring at you. But most often it doesn't lead to anywhere. I feel like whoever did this, there's something much more that's tied to, like, there's much more of a connection than we ever knew. That maybe even her mom, like her loved ones knew. So, yeah, close to home is what keeps popping up as a key phrase. So let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. And do me a favor on your way out, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. Please stay tuned for the detailed Tarot and Oracle reading, which I'll be doing next on Jennifer's case. Bye for now.